Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH. Plus, dare I say, we got a nice little quaint streak going on. It looks like we're gonna have a first half character. Magdalene, doesn't bother me. A little speed upgrade early. Before I show you the seed, let's see what we got. You know what? There's your seed, MIT3 C4DC, C4D2. Brain's broken, sorry. A lot of Isaac today. Not that I'm complaining. So, here's the thing, is if you wanna... If you want to get the damage bonus from Bloody Lust, it benefits you to pick up Bloody Lust before you blow up the TNT that is going to do that damage to you. It's a perfect example of right idea, wrong execution. Because I was like, you know, with Yumheart, we don't need 4 HP on the first floor. It would be more fun to have a little bit of extra damage. Plus, we'll use Yumheart to heal ourselves up anyway. Great idea. Only thing is, we did it in such a, you know, convoluted order. It actually provided us with no benefit whatsoever because I'm an idiot. But this is probably the last Isaac episode for today. I'm learning, you know. One of the things that I think has been conducive to playing a little bit better, believe it or not, has been playing less Isaac. And I know that sounds weird. But, you know, there have been periods of Isaac where I've had literally like a 3-week backlog, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like it actually owned, because it meant that, you know, I had like 40 episodes of Isaac in the cooker. I could take a week off from making Isaac episodes and not even be close to running out. You know, and we're in a point of the game's history where it doesn't evolve that much. So, you know, if you got a real inspirational day for Isaac and you want to go to town, why the heck not, brother? Let it go. But I do think it can lead to some bad play, some lazy habits, you know, and not really giving it your all. You know, the same way where, you know, it's like crunching for a big project, right? You know, there's like a sweet spot where after like 2 Isaac runs, or, you know, as little as like half of an Isaac run, you know, I'm warmed up. I'm warmed up and I'm feeling good. But then after like 6, you're like, you know, I don't need to do this. That would raise my odds by 1%, and then you never know. You know, it adds up. So, you know, I think it's been a good day at Isaac, and I'm a happy man. But I think the long-term health of my gameplay, and perhaps also my psyche, is tied to... I mean, we're still playing twice a day, by the way, bare minimum, but is tied to not having those marathon, like, you know, 8, well, not even 8, because 8 is actually very doable because I'm mentally broken, but like, you know, 12 video days with Isaac. Those might be a little bit of a thing of the past, like the Legend of Zoldo. A thing of the past. You hit me, you know what? I mean, if you're gonna hit me once, hit me a few times. There you go. Why? Well, it doesn't lower our odds of doing a deal with the devil now. So we might as well, you know, take a bunch of hits. And now we're substantially less likely to get hit on the boss fight as a result of the fact that we have 8 damage, which is awesome. That's helpful too. But yeah, I mean, you don't want to get hit in that situation. Nobody wants to get hit in that situation, but it is what it is. So if you'll forgive me, I'm also going to walk into that guy. I stand by that as well. We're up to 10 damage. Dude, Distant Admiration is very good. There was a Tinted Rock or a Stone Chest back there. I can't remember which one it was. My brain just... It set up a flag, and it was like, this is a room that if you get a bomb, come back to it. So we are kitted out here. I'm disappointed we compromised our deal with the devil, but I'm also stoked, you know, on the other hand, that we're... you know, fairly sustainably able to get quite a lot of damage here. And, you know, get the HP to come back from it, too, is the other thing. So, try not to get hit here, which is, it should be easy. If I get hit here, that's emblematic of something going wrong. Use your attack fly prodigiously. You tried. That's okay. Probably go with Rosary Bead. I feel like we've gotten... the bag of marbles, like, way more frequently lately. Dude, I don't know what happened on Twitter, by the way. You know, for the past few days, Well, for the past several years, I should be saying, whenever Twitter was like, hey, here's who you should follow, it's always like, indie game dev, sports guy. Today, when I went to Twitter, it said, you should follow Khloe Kardashian and Kendall Jenner. And I went, that's all right. And then I'm looking at the sidebar right now. It says, you should follow Justin Bieber and Lady Gaga. What happened? Is the recommendation engine broken? Hold on, let's refresh. See what it says. Justin Timberlake, Katy Perry, Rihanna. Ellen DeGeneres, Google. I don't know who this is. Okay, I've refreshed enough times. Wait, no. Selena Gomez, Britney Spears, Ariana Grande. MTV, Barack Obama, Bill Gates. Miley Cyrus, Google Chrome, Demi Lovato. Alicia Keys, Oprah Winfrey, Pink. Wiz Khalifa. Neil Horan, who has 40 million followers. Anytime I see somebody with a name like that and 40 million followers, I just assume they are a British singer I've never heard of. All right, now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. Okay. I was just refreshing until I saw my people again. I was actually like, is my Twitter account broken? Did I follow somebody recently where they're like, oh, he might be interested in Kendall Jenner tweets? Because if so, I'd like to re-examine my life. Not judging, just not my scene. You know what is my scene? Is that, you know, Mads Mikkelsen, Doctor Strange, Hannibal Lecter, you know him. Falsely accused guy from The Hunt. He's in 2 movies this month. Now, Deep Impact, Armageddon. Everybody knows, you know, Volcano, Dante's Peak. 2 movies come out in close proximity with what appears to be a very similar theme. Great minds think alike, plagiarism, who knows? We're in the Mads Mikkelsen era, baby. 1 week ago on Netflix, new Mads Mikkelsen movie came out. What's it called? Polar. This week at the multiplex, new Mads Mikkelsen movie comes out. What's it called? Arctic. One of them is a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. The other one is an 83% and is directed by, I believe his name is Joe Torres. You might know him as Mystery Guitar Man from YouTube. That's right. I don't have anything to say about that isn't positive. That's dope that you're able to... I don't want to say parlay, because I don't know if you leaned on your YouTube career as a crutch for this. And if you did, why wouldn't you, right? But more power to you either way. That's quite a career transition. Go from one of the original big-time YouTubers to directing a real Hollywood film. A lot of YouTubers have, well, a few YouTubers have made movies. This one is probably the one that I would have to say appears to be the most serious piece of actual work. Because it's not Fred Goes to Camp 3 starring John Cena and Louis Crookshank. That's right, I know the name of the guy who plays Fred, or played Fred. This is my business. This is my industry. So that's cool. That is not what I want for my career, but it's still incredible. What I want for my career is very simple. I want Netflix or Hulu or Crackle, if it still exists, which I don't believe it does, to give me enough money to make a television program where Malf and I just do other people's jobs and are bad at them. Like A Simple Life, but with much more sympathetic lead roles, you know? Not really a fantastic floor for us here. A lot of the damage I'm taking, by the way, I wouldn't call it deliberate. I would call it semi-deliberate. It's, you know, I'm taking the damage to get the damage bonus once I've squandered the deal with the devil. Guarantee already, so... I think that I'd rather be at 10 damage here, obviously. I still think that show could take off, dude. I think Malf and I have the kind of dynamic and demeanor that could make that show work. We've got an experience to some extent in improv and entertainment, and I think it could be an entertaining sort of dark tourism sort of deal. But here's the thing. I'm never going to pitch it to networks, because my job right now is to play video games, and it's like... It's hard to motivate me to elevate beyond that because it rules already. Like, it's already a dream come true. So, you know, working as the night manager of a 24-hour Kentucky Fried Chicken. Sounds very interesting. I would love to do that for a day or two, but it's the pitching it to networks and the yada 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 and the what do you mean it's about nothing and the so on and so forth. It's a whole rigmarole. It's Hollywood, baby. I am concerned about this run. And if you're concerned about a run where you have Bloody Lust and 10 damage, that's where things, you know, you got to stand up and take notice. This floor, you know, we got 2 boss fights coming up. I think there could be a big play that could help us out a great deal. I'm not even talking about the deal with the devil, although that would, of course, be welcomed. What would be nice is to get 2 attribute improvements from the boss. Bosses, I should say. So, in particular, like, damage is always welcome, but we already have it in the form of Bloody Lust. You know, we can swing it. We have something we can lean on to make it happen. But what I would like to have is Rate of Fire, because, you know, 10 damage, great. 10 Rate of Fire, I hate to say it, but it's bad. Like, you can get worse for sure, but it is pretty bad. Okay, we're at max damage bonus, so we don't need to get hit deliberately anymore. Why not? Let's give this a shot. And at this point, I'm, to be honest with you, fairly happy to just walk into enemies and use my feminine wiles, aka ball of bandages, to get the job done here. Alright. Now it's real. This is a Gertie. They cried a river and drowned the whole world. Ooh, why she looks so sad in photographs. I absolutely love her. But no, it's a Gertie that doesn't shoot, so we can actually afford to be a little aggressive up here. And we got the Halo, which is pretty solid. No doubt about that. Now, if you don't get hit here, you got a 1 in 3 chance, roughly, of getting a deal with the devil. But those are okay odds. You wouldn't bet your house on it, probably, unless you were getting 3 houses in return. But it's not bad. And look at that. Maybe my positive attitude influenced it a little bit more. So, I will take Satanic Bible. Both of these are great choices. It sort of does... Oh, we can hold Stud Finder as well. It puts us in a deficit for a while, and it does not necessarily work super well with Bloody Lust. But, I don't know. It's hard, dude. You don't pass up Satanic Bible. It opens up so many more easy ways to win. Now, I'm hopeful... We're on Depths 1. Okay, I'm hopeful on the next floor, if we could get an arcade. Really, at this point, IV Bag, I would strongly consider. The thing is, with Satanic Bible, there's a decent chance that we'll just reach a point at which we feel like we have enough Demon Hearts, to be honest. And if that happens on the next floor, I should be over the moon about it. I should be thrilled. You can tell, like, our actual damage... I heard no consumable drop there. Our actual damage is pretty bad. Still. And I say that, you know, I'm not disappointed at all that we got Death's Touch. This is an amazing item. But, we're still a little bit under the weather here. We shouldn't do that. Almost made a pretty major mistake there. Let's try this. I will buy Spirit Hearts, but I thought if we can get the cash, that would be more prudent. We also don't need to buy Spirit Hearts if we can just get battery charges, I guess. Yeah, it's a decent get for us there, and we'll save our other key for the item room. Weirdly enough, we actually have a good deal with the Devil Chance on this floor, despite getting one on the last floor, just due to the way that the penalties work on XL floors, so... We might end up, like, totally changing the way this run looked compared to how it was, you know, merely a floor ago. It would, you know, maybe we're not in an incredible position on DPS and damage yet, but it would have been incomprehensible. We would never have anticipated taking 0 damage on the depths with the run that we started our last floor with. So I think that in the end we got to say, hey, yeah, it put us behind the 8-ball temporarily, but we're probably coming out pretty far ahead as a result of it. I'll take meat. And we absolutely should have not taken meat until we looked into that room, but that's okay. So as you might expect, you've been a long-time listener, first-time caller, but something of an armchair baller. It's a good opportunity for us to probably play our self-sacrifice room and become Dark Judas just to double that DPS. Let's do that immediately. We're actually going to be way ahead of schedule, which is nice as well. All right. Step on it. Do it again. Gulp. We gulped our trinket, now that I think about it. It wasn't just them saying gulp because they wanted to. Okay. 13 damage up. That's pretty good. Especially with the piercing shot. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's a guarantee, but... Our run has changed a lot for the positive, without a doubt. Okay, this is cool. Like I said, you know, this wasn't necessarily... sure, I'll take him. Let's get weird. Wasn't necessarily like a super difficult run or anything like that, at least as of the present time period. But it's a little bit of a weird run, and I'm glad I was in a good headspace to tackle it, you know? I'm coming around to the idea that, you know, I really am skeptical to the idea that, like, a positive attitude makes a huge difference in your life. Mostly because I enjoy being negative. And it's taken me a long time to admit that being cynical is a very selfish way to look at the world. It's a way of looking at the world like I'm so much smarter than everybody else. If only everybody was as smart as me. What is that horrible sound? Shut your mouth. It never went that far. But you know, I think when you get to the point, like, let's be honest, how much better have I gotten than Isaac in the past 2 years? Not much. How much worse have I gotten? Not much. I don't know. We're plus or minus probably like 5% skill. What might make the difference at that level is kind of the attitude and the habits that you bring into the run. I don't know if it's applicable more broadly to life lessons or anything like that, but, you know, if we go into the run, you know, expecting things to be bad or, you know, not caring that much about the outcome, sure, you know, maybe the reason that, you know, streaks tend to, you know, once you get past 20, you tend to be good until something extraordinary happens. Maybe the reason for that on my own psychological level is, you know, once you start caring about the outcome of each individual run, you start to do better. There's other possible interpretations, for sure, but it's hard for me to argue with that one right now, at least. I don't know how I feel about the eyeball tears, by the way. I feel like the fact that our tears collide with one another in the air has not been a net positive, but certainly is not as bad as that Hemolacria run that I started today with. You son of a gun. I thought for sure you were going to pop up. You VH1 son of a gun. Sorry, still working on that Vince Vaughn impression. Here's my template for Vince Vaughn impressions. And I give this to you because I don't possess the natural impression ability to do Vince Vaughn's voice. I'm sure if I'd worked on it, I mean, he's got a little bit more of a... He has a deep voice like me, but he's got a little nasal quality to it as well that I find hard to emulate. But... the Vince Vaughn impression is very, very simple. It's basically entirely based on his 2004 film, The Wedding Crashers. And there's a scene where he goes, you motorboating? You motorboating, son of a bee? You old sailor, you. That's all you do, is you take, like, some verbs and nouns and you mix them together. You know, like, you know, someone's baking. Oh, you whisking? You whisking, son of a gun? It's basically all you have to do. It's hard to make it family friendly. That was a pretty terrible example. Boo! No, you see, when you're doing an improv bit, you don't boo. You go boo ends. I was saying boo ends. What have I done? Turn the portals a urinal color. However, it's not urinal, it's urine-esque. There we go. We should have gotten batteries, or at least had a chance to get batteries out of those portals. We got ripped off, dude. Okay, Necropolis 2. definite boss rush opportunities. If I don't get a substantial rate of fire increase, I will not be doing boss rush, and that's final, without a doubt. Our DPS is good, but actually, we didn't even get a 24 damage upgrade on the last floor. We actually only got like a... We must have gotten like an 11 damage upgrade, but it was doubled because of the damage that we chose to take on the self-sacrifice room. So we can get up to 24 damage. I just didn't examine our stats after that point. So our DPS is good, but it's not that good. And Stigmata doesn't change it enough. Unicorn Stump I don't think is good enough, and Egg-Headed I don't think is good enough. And if you disagree with those, that's fine. But I think that I have a very, very reasonable case to believe that those are not really what we want. And as strange as it sounds, and I say this a lot, and it rarely ends up being the case, but I do think that this run has future danger associated with it, believe it or not. Or I think, to be more fair, I think it could have future danger associated with it. Shouldn't have stood there. Even my brain sent me the message, you just sent it a second too late. It was like, you shouldn't be here. Oh, absolutely. Mostly for Spirit Hearts, but of course, teleportation of the deal with the devil. Thank you. And this is fine. Real touchy where you stand here, but... Or you could just walk into him, I suppose. Happy with what we got. I'm going to keep it up. I wanted to see if... There's a decent chance for us to get Spirit Hearts there. So, we didn't, but that's okay. Now, I'm hoping... It's a weird part about Isaac. Sometimes you have to root against yourself. I'm hoping we... don't get a deal with the devil on this floor, and instead we're able to raise our odds for getting one on the next floor. See, like, I'm not complaining, because we've Bloody Lust plus Dark Judas. We got some good deal with the devil aspects going on here. All I'm saying is our base level DPS is admittedly kind of not good. Could have waited on taking that, but... It has room to get better, would be the most polite way to put it, but... You know, just because we got a lot of tools doesn't mean we have the workshop necessary to use them. That's kind of where it's kind of how I feel about this run right now, is like... You know, inside of the toolbox, we got everything you could ever imagine. You know, the tools that we have in there are beyond what they used to build the International Space Station. You know, we sent a rocket to the moon in 1969 using punch cards and chewing gum. Now we got all this expensive infrastructure, you know, but if you don't know how to use it, just having it is not a virtue in and of itself. And that's kind of where we're at. I don't think it's a lack of skill. It's more, well, of course I would say that, but it's more of just a, you know, unfortunately, I really think that the best, the way that I feel the best about this run is after we've been hit a couple of times and our damage starts to rise. Yes. I tell you though, I am extremely stoked to have gotten some HP on this floor. They didn't have to do that. And I, you know, for all the hand-wringing and, you know, potential, you know, the TNT nose drama that I'm trying to sell you on here. Gulp the trinket, at least. Although I think that's a trinket that we want to explode and not exist any longer. But we should, I mean, we still have what I would consider to be a relatively simple path to victory. It's just a little slow, and we're going to be taking some damage in the process. And beyond that, we basically have to stick with Satanic Bible, which is fine. I'm super glad we even had the opportunity to pick it up. So we already know what's in there. It's nothing. And we'll head down to the next floor. Just stretching a little bit, not a post-Isaac stretch. Just a restless stretch with the restless stretch. Grandma, Meow, meow. Is that so before we went skiing, Kate was like, you should stretch. And I don't disagree with her. But I did hit her with kind of like this internet pseudo-intellectual argument, and I was like, there's no scientific record that shows that stretching prior to exercise has any preventative benefit on musculature injury. She was like, yeah, but why don't you just stretch? And I was like, you know what, you make a good point. I'm not doing anything else. So I stretched, but I got to thinking, you know? When, I don't know about you guys, but my physical education classes, or as we called them, James, from, you know, like 5th grade to, well, like 1st grade to 8th grade, basically. We only did a couple of different things. We ran around the gym, played dodgeball, floor hockey, etc., etc. But a lot of it was warm up and stretching. So we would, you know, like touch your toes, and you sit down on the gym floor, and you'd put one leg out in front of you, then you reach out and grab it. You'd also do a move, and I have never seen an adult do this move, but anybody that went to a gym class is aware of this move. In order to warm up, you spin your arms in a circle, and then the circle gradually gets larger and larger and larger, and then you stop and you go in the opposite direction. And I have no idea. I guess that one stretches your funny bone, because that's how you look. But a lot of my gym class, you know, and it was back in the unenlightened days of the 1990s that most of this took place, but a lot of my gym class was focused on stretching. It feels hard to let go of the idea that stretching might not be that useful. So I don't know. Anybody out there work in the stretching industry? I leave yoga out of this, by the way, because I know nothing about yoga. But there's kind of like, I have like an axiom about yoga. First off, like a lot of physical exercise, I think a big reason that it's done is basically like for mental health, right? And for mindfulness, so that's fine. But moreover, I very, very rarely see an out of shape person that's like, yeah, I do yoga. So one of two things, in my estimation, is happening, which is that only people in shape choose to pursue yoga, or people who pursue yoga eventually, you know, sooner rather than later, get into pretty good shape. So I'm inclined to think that it does have benefits. But stretching itself, you know, I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. I'm getting into this weird level of discourse for a couple of reasons. One is this is the 5th Isaac episode I've recorded today, maybe 6th. And the other one is I need something to entertain myself while I, you know, embark upon this run, which has not been unenjoyable, but is a little bit less powerful than you would expect. And I really hate to say it, because I kind of, you know, went off on hemolacria earlier, but I gotta tell you, kind of think that eyeball tears are, I wouldn't use the B word, I wouldn't say they're to blame, but I think they're partly responsible. You know, the fact that we can shoot and our second shot hits our first shot, gets slowed down, and never makes it to the enemy, that's pretty horrible, to be honest. Now again, pebcac issue, for sure. Problem exists between keyboard and chair, i.e. the egg, yours truly. We didn't have to take it. We chose to take it. Agreed. Not a secret room, unfortunately. But I also maybe will choose to not take it in the future. How do you feel about that? It's not really your fault, but I'm going to hold it against you for some reason. I don't really think we should play you. It's more of a timing issue, to be honest. And again, as long as our HP holds steady, we got very little to worry about. You know, once every 6 rooms, Satanic Bible comes through in the clutch. Every time we get hit, we're adding like 3 or 4 damage to our run, which is an extremely considerable amount of it. But every time we go down to a new floor, we start over again from 0. I kind of, like, I've come to trust my own instincts on a lot of these runs. And when I have the instinct on the Cathedral to still use my orbital to deal damage, that gives me pause. Excuse me, that time we got hit, we only got plus 0.5 damage. I definitely saw us get plus 4 once. Like 2 floors ago. Go look it up in the footage. I'm telling you, I might be losing my mind, but I'm right in this case. A broken clock can still be right twice a day. By the way, I don't like this expression, because a broken clock can be right more than twice in a day, and it can be wrong all the time. It could be right less than twice a day, you know? How could a broken clock be right more than twice a day? Well, what if instead of being broken by not counting time, it counted at double speed, you know? Then it would be right 4 times a day. You know, let's say it's right at midnight. It would then be right... Wait a minute. Now I'm like... I'm running it through my own, like, mental algorithm, and I'm like, would that be right? 6 hours later, it would think that it's 12. Clock would say 6. I don't think it would be right 4 times a day. 6 hours later, it would think that it's 12. It would be 12. Yeah, it would still be right twice a day. Never mind. Oh my god, what an incredible statement. See, plus 4 damage. I knew it. Okay, I'm taking way too much damage. Once I ran it through my head, I was like, you know what? It's still only right twice a day. At noon and noon, I think. Noonie, 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 noonie. Boo, 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 boo. Please give me maybe technology. I'd love it. Nope. You know, I can't not, is the thing. I think I'll take the sprinkler. I don't know how to feel about what we just got, but... Dude, we can't hit Ragman. It's just, I don't know what it is. Yeah, the shots, they're not gonna hit. That's okay. I want to use the sprinkler on rooms in which, you know, things are looking a little dicey. This is one such room. I really think, you know, our damage gets quite a bit better from having that sprinkler existing. But a lot of our shots are colliding destructively with one another. Homer Simpson, colliding destructively, you know? Like, the fact that it took us that long to kill one of these mega fatties, you know, it's a tanky enemy, but still. How is this man able to avoid consequence for so long? It's kind of surprising, is all I'll say. I would really like to see some items, please. Like this fight, I don't think this one's going to be a problem. Because we essentially just have a cloud of shots following us. And the cloud is not insignificant. You know, it does like a pretty nice amount of damage. I don't like an enemy that's unpredictable like this. You know what part of the problem is? It seems like these shots can only hit the enemy one time. I guess it's, we gotta look at this kind of like a tiny planet run. And I'm glad we're taking the opportunity to, you know, explore this run. And, you know, see if we could maybe get some weird stuff that... Sometimes things are weird and they work really, really well. I definitely think this is not one of those situations. Even with our relatively, you know, bad, I'm not even going to call it modest, it's just a bad rate of fire for the length of time we've been on this run. But even with that, you wouldn't expect it to take this long to kill enemies, you know? Even strong enemies. We got a good thing going here, damage-wise. Even if it takes a while to accelerate for whatever reason. Now, all this being said, we still should win. Every dead end we hit, you know, it kind of decreases our odds. Everywhere you... Never mind, we have made it to the boss. And it's another one that, to be honest with you, I'm happy it's soon to be over, you know? I feel like we've been having a lot of these runs, you know, over the first 15 or 16 here that have kind of been dancing with the devil. Appeared to find themselves in a dangerous position. Thank God for the orbital, also helping us out. And that's gonna do it. Going up to 16 wins and happy to have finished it. Make sure to do your post-dies at stretch. You don't want to get injured. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya!